Welcome back to another installment of Married at First Sight, everybody. Was this season 18, episode 3059.
You ate that.
Okay, so hit the like and subscribe button as the intro plays. All right, first and foremost, let's just get to it. Let's talk about MM and Ikechi. Okay, so this is right after Ikechi, walked out of the restaurant and stormed out of the apartment. He moved back to the apartment and he left his air fryer, his Ninja air fryer, everybody. Was that product placement for Ninja? I don't think so. But anyhow, so MM wakes up in the apartment, the shared apartment, alone. But I think she was at her house because it was a different headboard. And she did say, "I'm at home." So I think that was her house because it was a different headboard than the headboard in the bedroom. See, I watch. I pay attention.
Loser.
Anyhow, she's still upset. Well, she should be. But I wouldn't be upset wondering if he was going to come back. I'd be upset like, how am I going to get in there? I'm going to get in there. Like, I'm going to get him back. I'm going to get my lick back on Ikechi for what he tried to do. All right, so let's just move on to Ikechi met up with Pastor Cal, he is no doctor. And basically tries to gaslight Pastor Cal and is kind of successful at it. Although Pastor Cal did call him to the carpet a little bit, saying, you can't disrespect your wife. And he said, I never once disrespected my wife. Okay, I remember disrespecting my wife. Like, who is he? Rick James?
I never just did things just to do them. Come on, I mean, what am I gonna do? Just all of a sudden just jump up and grind my feet on somebody's couch like it's something to do? Come on, I got a little more sense than that. Yeah, I remember grinding my feet on his couch.
I mean, you disrespected her on plenty of occasions on screen that we saw that the cameras caught. So we definitely don't know what you did off camera. I mean, we do know that you disrespected her in a restaurant and got loud and y'all had to leave because you didn't deny it when she brought it up. But you did disrespect her. And he said, and Pastor Cal said, you called her an a-hole. You can't call your wife an a-hole. Well, if you act like an a-hole, you're going to get called that. I really think there's a psychosis going on with Ikechi. It's like he is the projection king, or maybe he really feels like the cameras have not picked up on what he's selling. Like the camera can definitely see, and we as viewers can see. Now, mind you, I know editing plays a big part in a lot of it, but the camera can only shoot what the camera sees. The editors can only edit what you give them. And you have given them the a-hole that you claim MM is. And he says she's belittled him. She's made him feel little, small. And here's the thing with the experts that I don't like. They don't get into specifics and like, what exactly did she say or do? I need an example of her disrespecting you or her making you feel low. But they don't get into the nitty gritty because I think it's kind of a way of keeping their story going, that this is a successful process. And it's as if the experts have this pull behind the scenes, like, we got to get all these couples married. We have a bet to see who's gonna stay married. So therefore, they're not gonna discourage them to grow apart, to separate. Their goal is to keep them together, even if it's toxic. They don't care. All right, so then later on, Dr. Pia meets up with MM. Now, Dr. Pia had me going for a minute, and then she lost me because she is what the younger generation, the Gen Zs or the millennials, call male identified, because she's basically telling her, just go along to get along with your man, And why are you so pressed to call him your husband? And MM says, he is my husband. Oh, you're getting spicy with me. The way I said it was a little bit more spicy than the way MM said it. she got on the show Married at First Sight, which you're one of the experts on, Dr. Pia, because she wanted to marry somebody blindly she trusted you guys to match her with somebody sane who was open to the process. And that's why she calls him her husband.
You had that coming, dum-dum.
And she says, well, when you feel like getting spicy with him, like say if my fiance came home and he had a problem and I just want to know what happened, and I just let him bring it to me. Well, this is different. First of all, you've been with this guy for a minute. This guy just comes home with a complete attitude and he wants complete silence. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want questions. He doesn't want to give answers. He's vague. And mentioned that he's broad in his answers.
What you need to do is tell me what you want.
So therefore, I need details. She needs details because you're a complete stranger. I'm not just going to go with your program because you are you. We just met each other. I've been living my life. I'm talking about for 36 years. She's been living her life. He's been living his life for 41 years. And now all of a sudden I'm just supposed to go with what you want to do because you said it, because you're Ikechi, the ladies' man. And if you were this ladies' man, like your mother said, where are the ladies? With your ebook. You're out here trying to push this ebook, which everybody and their mama's pushing the ebook. You know, your cousin says you have this huge following. Okay, Ikechi has like 11,000 followers. It's more than me, but it's not like you're not an influencer, Ikechi. So you're a micro influencer at best. And how many of those followers did you buy? He probably bought like 5,000 followers, maybe 8,000. But as I digress.
This is a great conversation, wrong scenario.
So Dr. Pia was totally gaslighting because, again, I think these experts want to see these people go to the finish line because maybe they get a bonus or just to prove that the process works, which it doesn't work because you are matching people on whims, not matching people because they really need to be matched, but because you're trying to make a show, trying to make a fool out of these people. And I wish these people would rise up and just say, you know what, I'm leaving this process. This dude is a fool. But somehow y'all convince them to keep on going. And this goes to when and Ikechi both together meet with Dr. Pia and Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal, he starts with the, I get it. Ikechi is a creative. He leads with his heart. And you are in science. You lead with science. So you need to know exacts. Now, you know what? These theories kind of work if we were dealing with a sane person. If we were dealing with healthy people who were actually in alignment trying to work this out. But we're dealing with Ikechi.
Punk ass bitch.
Ikechi, who has been gaslighting and answering in haikus to Like, he doesn't want any questions. He just wants everything to go with the flow. But guess what? You don't have the luxury of going with the flow, and you don't like her. You didn't like her the minute she walked down that aisle. I remember that face he made, like, he made the little stank face, like some stinks. I remember that. And they asked, well, when did this first start going downhill? He said after the honeymoon. I said in one of my earlier videos that the last dinner that the couples had on the honeymoon, Ikechi told everything to me. He said, yeah, when we get back to work, we'll probably, grow apart a little bit. I mean, he basically set the stage to start distancing himself from MM. And the fact that he keeps bringing up that she wanted to have sex with him immediately and shower with him, well, the way you were treating her on the honeymoon, she thought it was go time. She was getting the signal that you were with it, Ikechi, that you were down for it.
He was trying to see if I was with it.
So why are you making her seem like she's a predator? But nobody's mentioning that. On the honeymoon, it was all love. Y'all were floating around in the pool, hugging each other. So, of course, after we get out this pool, it's on and popping. Now, why she would want to get with him is beyond me. But, I mean, let's not deny that MM doesn't come off eager or thirsty. I mean, let's just go with the positive word, eager, because you're supposed to be eager when you want something. When you feel it, you're supposed to have that feeling of eagerness. And she did. And she probably felt like, after all these years of dating and having these mishaps, finally I have someone. They matched me with somebody who's right for me. But they matched her with a fool. Now, speaking of fools, let's not move on to that fool yet. Let's just go to Juan and Carla. Of course, Juan, Carla is in the shared apartment. She has a client over and they're in the bathroom doing hair. Like, Carla, you could have set that up a little bit better. And she had her client, she did the hair. And they're having egg rolls, everybody. These egg rolls, these ginormous egg rolls. Okay, so they're having these ginormous egg bowls surrounded by sound bowls. Now, I want to address everybody who is down on Carla, because they don't understand her spiritualism, her flighty loftiness, because, she doesn't really want to work a full-time job for somebody else. She wants her own job, and everybody says, oh, Carla's just dumb. She doesn't know how to make money. She's lazy. Carla has a bunch of skill sets that can make her a lot of money. It may not be the path that you're taking with a 9-to-5 working at a job you hate just to get a 401k that they take 40% out of, and it could go up and down at any moment, and to get disrespected by your boss or get micromanaged. Carla doesn't want that for her life. But let me just say this. Carla, with her sound bowl healing, she can make between $50 and $100 an hour. What are you making an hour? The average American makes like $40,000 a year, which I don't understand how people live on that. So let's stop dogging out Carla, who's still figuring it out. Like, Carla isn't an old person. How old is Carla? Is she still in her 20s? She's still at the stage of figuring out things. And this show is giving her the outlet to expand. Now, mind you, she's not putting the best foot forward for the viewers who are watching because everybody's down on her. But Carla, with her hair business, Pilates, and sound bowl healing, could be making a lot of money and doing things she loves, because why work? And there's a saying of, and I'm about to mess it up, do something you love and it never feels like work. And that's what Carla is pursuing. And let's just go into this. So Carla took Juan to a Pilates place. It's called Metaphysical Pilates. And I was just in Chicago, and I was like, oh man, I wish I had gone. I used to live in Chicago for like 19 years. So that's like my second home. I even saw my Last Gems logo pop on the screen. Shout out to Fit Results. I saw you. But so they're in the South Loop. But Carla took Juan to Pilates, and Juan was not catching on to the Pilates machines. However, Pilates, you can also make a lot of money doing. And here's something else, everybody, because I do the research for you. I'm sort of an investigator. Carla already works for Metaphysical Pilates because she's all throughout their Instagram feed, and they even announced her on the page. And there's also a shot of Carla, doing sound bowl healing in the park. So Carla already works for them, everybody. This is just for TV that she's acting all lofty. Now, maybe she needs her own business doing this, and one day she will, but Carla's working. So y'all get off Carla. Because I feel like Juan is trying to play this role like he's just this powerhouse, this corporate powerhouse, but he's just getting started too. He's learning himself. He's trying to act like he has it all together, but he's still learning. Okay, so enough of Carla and Juan. They're just friends. They're friend zone. They don't like each other, but whatever. Okay, let's get to Alan and Madison. Madison still doesn't like Alan, and she has found something to be mad at Alan about. They went out drinking. They had they had a date at a bar to watch the game. Oh, what a romantic date. We're gonna go watch some football at the bar. That's so romantic. But so anyhow, they came home, and Alan said, I'm gonna stay at my apartment tonight. And she says, don't go, you've been drinking. He said, yeah, I'm good. I'm not, I can drive. And, you know, there's going to be some conflict about this online. And I know people are hypersensitive, especially the people who watched Real Housewives of Potomac and saw what happened with Karen Huger. Okay, so there's Karen Huger and then there's Alan. Two different spectrums. Now,
Okay. Yes, you're okay.
How much you drink tonight? How much
Ray, are you good?
I'm good. I'm just saying, you know, they're assuming that you had more than you should have.
and mind you, I don't condone drinking and driving. Let's stop fronting like people have never driven after having one glass of alcohol. But now, I don't think Alan was inebriated. I don't think he was drunk. He said it the next day. Because I think Madison just wanted a reason to be mad at him, to be honest. Not condoning drinking and driving, but I just think she wanted a reason to be mad at him. Like he said, I'm 6 feet, 200 pounds, or however pounds, and I had 4% alcohol. That didn't do jack to me. But there are people on the road, Alan. You're just not going to get it. They're not. He's not going to get it. So let's just stop the argument and keep it moving on not liking Alan. So you don't like Alan. They met up with the experts, Dr. What's her name? Dr. Peppers, as what's his name used to call her? Elijah, Dr. Peppers. They met up with Dr. Pepper. And basically, it's like the experts are trying to pull something out of these people, some depth in them, to find out what happened in childhood to make you this way. No, you should be saying, why aren't you attracted to your husband? You aren't attracted to him? You don't like him? Okay, let's figure out a way to separate. But instead, they want to dig deeper with childhood. You both had hard childhoods. Look, who didn't have a tough childhood? I mean, my childhood was decent, but it wasn't that. Ooh, I mean, it wasn't sorted with a bunch of stuff, but I'm sure at therapy you can unpack a lot of stuff to come up with a story of why childhood was so bad. But, you know, Alan was talking about how the custody battle between his parents was tough for him. And Madison was talking about how it was hard for her, and her mother said some mean things to her. And I just knew she was going to say, my mama was alcoholic, but she never did. So, because that could have explained her sensitivity to, you know, Alan, you know, drinking and driving. And again, I'm not condoning drinking and driving. But we never even got anywhere. And Alan basically said, look, do you have any attraction to me? Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired. I'm sick of it. Like, nobody wants to be with somebody and you know that they're not attracted to you, but yet you're now in this process where you're stuck with them for 2 months. So Alan's tired of it. And she said, that's a weird question to ask me. Like,
we got to make it make sense.
Like, no, it's not. And Alan, why are you so attracted to her? She's not that cute. I know there's, you know, everybody is subjective. Beauty is subjective. But she has a strong, strong face. A strong face. You can only look at her from certain angles. And then even certain angles are not the best. But hey, everything's subjective, and let's not beat up a woman for her looks.
You ain't nobody's friend. Mama.
But her weave is horrible. She looks like a country western star from the 90s with that horrible weave. It's just horrible. And the dye job is that ashy blonde. Do better, girl. And speaking of do better, I'm going to move on from them because they kind of bored me. Let's get down to David and Michelle. David and Michelle, you know, they talked to Dr. Pepper, and Dr. Pepper basically said that everything that Michelle is going through is fear-based because, like I said, Michelle is running from her past. She grew up very poor, and now she thinks she has leveled up. She uses that word elevated so much. I have elevated. Let's give you a more elevated look. She doesn't want to be poor again. And then Dr. Pepper asked her, well, were you embarrassed from being poor? No, I wasn't embarrassed. I was embarrassed when we had those different colored cards to get lunch. Again, is Rick James in the house? Like,
See, I never just did things just to do them. Come on, I mean, what am I gonna do? Just all of a sudden just jump up and grind my feet on somebody's couch like it's you know, something to do. Come on, I got a little more sense than that. Yeah, I remember grinding my feet on somebody's couch. You know?
you were embarrassed. Because I remember seeing the kids, and I used to, even as a little girl, I made these distinctions. Oh, they didn't bring their lunch. Oh, they didn't bring their lunch and they're in line. Oh, they have a different card. So I remember those things. Like, I used to I always had my lunch. My mother always made my lunch, whether it was a good lunch or a bad lunch, because I used to compare my lunch. Unfortunately, I compare. I've just unpacked that. I've been comparing myself for years. Okay, moving on. This isn't about me.
And although my mind tells me that she's a messy, tacky bitch, my heart tells me she really doesn't mean any harm.
So, Michelle decides to take... Oh, so Michelle's like, I grew up poor. My parents divorced. I don't even remember them being together till like age 3. I think they were already divorced. We were very poor. And David basically said, I didn't grow up poor. I grew up with both of my parents, and they took me out of public school and put me into private school, and I don't know why. And then I realized I was everybody else is Caucasian, and why am I here? So that explains why he wants Becky with the blonde hair so badly, because he was probably rejected by Becky at the private school, or maybe it was an all boys private school. But anyhow, I'm just making assumptions, just like the experts do. They make assumptions.
It's like, honestly, you know a lot, you're a know-it-all. There you go.
Michelle took David to meet her stylist to the store to get him a new look. Basically, that look that Michelle gave David was David from short sleeves to David with long sleeves. We're going to elevate your look a little. I think that really elevates us. Like, David, it looks like you just took him to a boutique size Eddie Bauer, because there was nothing elevated about those looks. There was nothing that, she's like, oh, that really brings out your eyes. Like, no, it didn't. There was nothing interesting about the choices. Ooh, a denim shirt. The Gap's been selling denim for how many years? There was nothing interesting, appealing, or anything. You can get denim shirts at the Gap. You can get denim shirts at Old Navy. You can get denim shirts everywhere. She could have gone to Ross. She could have gone to TJ Maxx. She could have gone to Marshall's. You could have gone to Macy's, anywhere to get that denim shirt, but you went to this boutique, and it was probably overpriced. And she revealed herself. She wanted him to look like Drake.
Yeah, Drake? Drake?
Or Travis Kelce. So she's not really wanting this corporate guy. She just wants a rich guy. Oh, and when she was with Dr. Pepper, she basically said, he is 10 years behind me. Okay, I did some digging too. Michelle is an executive assistant, everybody. An executive assistant for Twitter, mind you, but still. She acts like she's this corporate powerhouse with her basic apartment paying $2,500 a month, which is ridiculous for what it is. And it's not even decorated. And then she thinks she has all this style. It's like, girl, you need to go see an esthetician. You need to go get a new hairstylist. You need to ask Carla to give you a new dye job before you start trying to style up David, who has his curls. His curls are popping. David needs to do hair videos. All right, let's get to Camille and Thomas. Who cares? Whatever. This is the episode. Ooh, write a letter to yourself. So, they met up with Dr. Pepper, and, they're doing well. Thomas came with his earrings. Did y'all notice his earring wasn't quite centered in the lobe? It was kind of lower. But anyhow, and Camille was all excited. Yeah, he got his earrings. Those earrings, they're corny. They do nothing for him. They don't add to him. They don't take up. They're just there. Like, why? Why get your ears pierced? I never got that. The whole man earrings thing. Like, if you like it, I love it. But it's like, I never would think, oh, I need a man with earrings. That's never been on my radar. Ooh, that's what if anything, it turns me off, sort of. But if you have earrings, I don't care. I don't know why that brought his swagometer up to have earrings. And he had on a nice suit. You could tell that his suit was tailored well. Younger selves. I hate this episode. Letter to my younger self. Yeah, you're going to be great. You need to give yourself a break and, stop trying to be a protector, blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
Now I like you. Now I want you.
they got emotional. Both of them, you know, Camille basically revealed she's not that vulnerable. She doesn't cry often. I cry all the time, so I don't understand the people who think crying is weak. Crying is a release for me. Sometimes, like yesterday, I saw a meme, a reel that made me cry. I was like, oh no. I cry at a drop of a hat. But anyhow, this video is very long. And then when I edit it, it's going to be even longer. But this episode was kind of a filler episode. But it just showed to me that the experts do not have these people's interests at best or whatever. You know, they don't care about these people. They just care about the TV show and the edit. They're gaslighting MM. They're gaslighting Alan. They're gaslighting David. And the only ones who seem like they're doing well is Camille and Thomas. So anyhow, drop into the comments and tell me your thoughts. All right, till next time. Peace.